Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I just want to make a corrections about a blink of the eyes. Okay, it's way too long. Just to give you an idea, I'm working the 4 slides. I'm going to describe a little bit. Don't leave the room yet. Okay. Is millions of a billionth of a second. Okay. The light propagates 1 micrometers, during this time. Okay. The light takes 1 second to the light to go to the moon. But during these pulses, they propagate only for 1 micrometers. A micrometers is about 1/100th of the thickness of your hair, roughly. So I just want to make these connections. And the fact that I'm really here, in fact, is because, and I want really to thank very much Maria Tarantola, I'm sorry, for these invitations, is because I feel that I have a message. And we are, because of this light, this extreme light, we may be able to solve some of the very important problems that we have alluded for. And so thank you, Anna Maria Tarantola, for these invitations. So I'm going to talk about extreme light. Of course, we are in a place of lights here. And trying to solve one very important problem, and what we see with the climate change is the problems of having clean, abundant, and safe, energy. Okay, I think this is a very important. There is other problems, of course, the food, the water, and so on. Okay, but I think I would like to talk about this one. I'm a scientist, so I have to focus and laser focused, so to speak, on one thing. Okay, and so I'm going to try to describe what could be my contributions, to humanities with flight. So I'm going to go directly to what I want to say is right now what is causing this the problems of climate change is, as I said, we had our lack of means to produce clean energy. Okay. Considering that, for instance, renewable energy like wind, solar, tidal, hydroelectrics, and so on, right now are not going to be enough. Okay. And for the 10 billion people that we are going to be, in a few decennies. So we will have to rely on nuclear energy. So nuclear energy, for a lot of people, it's a bad word, and I know that. So we have to make it clean, okay, and safe, so we can use it. because they can provide enormous resources for the 10 billion people that we are going to be for about thousands of years. These are the type of problems we have to solve. And so I'm going to talk about, you are, I'm sure, very familiar, maybe not in a very good way, with nuclear energy. Usually, I think nuclear energy, are really have really bad publicity, of course, with Chernobyl and Fukushima and so on. And we understand that. And I'm all like you, okay? And so, right now, the nuclear energy is based on uranium. And I'm going to talk about a new way to do that. It's not a new way because we know that for 50 years and even more, but for the grand public, it's a new one. I would like to talk about switching from uranium to thorium. Thorium, which is also an element, and which could offer some incredible, could provide nuclear energy safe. The reason why uranium was adopted as opposed to thorium in the 50s was because of the Cold War. And the Cold War, of course, defense was very important. And so uranium was chosen. Thorium, the only problem you will see with thorium is that we cannot make plutonium with the thorium. So you can do it with uranium. And because if you cannot make plutonium, you cannot make bombs. So I think we have to go back now to the drawing board and try to think about going back maybe to thorium. First, let me tell you a few things about the thorium. Thorium is is very abundant, okay, and it also is spread all over the world. It will, right now, our reserve of thorium is such that it could really fulfill the need of 10 billion people, what we are going to be, for 10,000 years. Okay. So, of course, this is avoiding the geopolitical conflicts that we know. Thorium, of course, rely on it's nuclear energy and has zero carbon dioxide emission. So you have no pollutions because you know that carbon dioxide also, emissions also produce pollutions. So we have no greenhouse effect. So we have no impact on climate. Thorium is very energy efficient. I will show you a few million times coal. Okay. And thorium also produces a small amount of nuclear waste, okay, with a shorter radiotoxicity times. Right now we know some of the problems we have with uranium-based energy is because we are producing elements which are called minor actinide, which stays with you for hundreds of thousands of years. And the other advantage of thorium, it cannot run away. Okay, so the only disadvantage is plutonium cannot be produced with thorium, which is very good. It's very good because, of course, this guarantees it eliminates, nuclear proliferations. Because the reason right now we are checking always North Korea and Iran and all this is because with uranium facilities, they can produce plutonium. They don't only produce energy, but they can produce plutonium. So in the case of thorium, if they had to build, in the case of thorium, you cannot do that. So that will solve this problem. So it is I'd just like also to flash this slide just to show what really nuclear energy gives you. Okay. A typical gigawatt power plant, but we have in the world 300 or 400 of these. It takes about 100 trains of 100 wagons of coal per year. Okay, so it takes 3 million tons of coal a year. And if you are adopting nuclear energy, and that's the reason why we do, is it takes only 300 tons. Of course, in case of coal, it generates cubic kilometers of carbon dioxide, enormous amount. But if I use thorium, it will take only 1 ton of thorium and 0 carbon dioxide. Now, there is one thing that you need to do, what we want to do, and is to do clean nuclear energy, will be maybe we have to produce what we call protons. And there's one way, if you are producing protons, correctly, that you could run the facility, under critical. You keep the facility under critical, so it's not going to, run away. But you need to provide a small dose of protons on the side. Okay, and it's where I intervene, and by using extreme light, once again, producing these extremely short pulses, of millions, of billions of seconds. But during these millions of billions of seconds, the power is about 1,000 times the grid power, the electrical grid power in the world during this very, very short pulse. And we are using this. This is typically, but what is nice is you can use these pulses to produce these what we call high energy protons that we need really to prime the reactor, you know. And what is nice, if there's no risk of runaway, because if we see that there is something malfunctions of a central, we just switch off the laser, or we switch off the source of the protons, and it will stop. So it's very safe. So this is my message. But I had a chance. So in the case, you know, it's a very simple thing. We have our lasers. We are eating a very thin slide of materials to produce protons, and protons, you know, we are all full of course, protons. So you can use this thin film of plastic if you want. Okay, you eat the plastic, and you are going to produce these protons, electron first, and then protons, and we are going to use these protons, you know, to prime, to keep just the facility just at critical, so you have no chance of runaway. So and so we can use it for doing fusion or fission. I'm not going to go into these details. And I had the chance 2 years ago, before the pandemic, you know, to have an audience with the Holy Father. And here we are with my co-laureate, you know, trying to describe our plans already to the Holy Father. So my message is, I hope that science will help, of course, to correct for the situations. Of course, I understand fully why our predecessors, you know, chose the uranium versus the thorium and so on. But now it may be the time to look at this problem again. Yeah. So I'm going to stop here. Thank you very much.